Dear students, welcome to the science class. So in the last class we were discussing about the physical and chemical change. So in that physical and chemical change we discussed about what are the physical changes, what are the chemical changes, how we are going to identify the physical change, how we are going to identify the chemical change, what are the parameters used for the discussing or identification of the physical and chemical change. So in general, physical change is nothing but what? There will be no new product is going to be formed. Whereas chemical change is what? It is the where one or more than one new product is formed. So identification of those things can be done by the taking the some parameters in the chemical change, that is nothing but evolution of the gas, absorption or release of the radiations, that is nothing but heat, light or something else, right? Or else release of the gas, evolution of the gas. By that thing also we are going to check there is the chemical changes occurred in the same manner. By the change in the color also we are going to identify the change in the chemical state. Now today we are going to discuss another important topic, that is nothing but rusting up iron. So what is the rusting up iron here? Rusting up the iron is nothing but what? It is the damaging of the iron. So what is the damaging of iron here? If you check, if you keep your iron boxes or iron fillings outside in the atmosphere, what is going to happen there? It is going to have a deposition of the brownish colored substance. It is going to have a brown colored surface on that iron thing, or if you take reddish brown color, or if you take your benches also, the benches after some time are going to get into reddish brown color. So what is that reddish brown color? That is nothing but what? It is the rust of iron. It is the rust of iron. Even generally, if you want to say what is the rusting of iron is nothing but what? It is the deterioration of the iron or damage of the iron. So what will happen when you take that reddish brown color? If reddish brown color is formed on the surface of the iron, if you apply some floors, if you take a sandpaper, what is going to happen? That iron is going to go away. It is going to get away, deteriorate, or it is going to go away. So what is happening here? The size of the iron is getting reduced. The amount of the iron is getting lost. That amount of iron is getting lost. For example, if you take this box of iron, which is kept outside in the atmosphere, what is going to happen? The surface is going to become reddish brown color. This surface is going to become what? Reddish brown color. So if you take a sandpaper, this much surface, this much amount of the iron is going to get lost. It is losted. This much loss is going to gain by this iron box. So whatever the loss which is present here, it is nothing but what? It is the deterioration of the iron. So this is nothing but what? This process is known as the rusting up iron. Rusting up iron. So rusting up iron is nothing but what? It is the damage to the iron, or it is the deterioration of iron when it is kept in an atmosphere. So why the color of this thing is changing here? Since atmosphere contains oxygen. Oxygen as well as it also contains some water vapor. Those are nothing but moisture. Water vapors, or those are nothing but what? Those are the moisture. When they come in contact with the iron fillings, when they come into contact with the iron, it is going to form reddish brown color. It is going to form what? Reddish brown color. That reddish brown color is nothing but what? It is the rust. It is the rust. So it is nothing but what? Rusting up iron. So in general, if you want to define rusting up iron here, when iron comes in contact with atmospheric oxygen, gas, that is nothing but O2 gas, or water vapor, that is nothing but moisture, it is going to deteriorate. It is going to what? It is going to deteriorate. Or you can say when iron comes in contact with atmospheric oxygen or water vapor, it becomes reddish brown color. It becomes reddish brown in color. reddish brown in color. That is nothing but it is the rust. And this process is known as what? Rusting of iron. So in a chemical sense, in a chemical reaction, if you want to show that rusting of iron, that is nothing but, you see here, what we required here? We required iron. So this is nothing but what? It is a chemical reaction. It is also a chemical change. So iron is required here for rusting of iron. Then what is required here? If you see here, it is required oxygen as well as the water vapor. So oxygen in the form of O2 gas which is present in the air. So plus again what is required here? It is required water vapor. It requires water vapor, that is nothing but in the form of moisture or what? H2O. So when it required with the iron reacts with the oxygen as well as water vapor, it is going to give the rust. It is going to become rust. So that rust is nothing but what? It is Fe2O3. It is nothing but what? It is Fe2O3 and it is known as the iron oxide. It is known as what? It is known as the iron oxide. So that is nothing but when iron comes in the contact with oxygen and water vapor, it is going to become rust. So that rust is nothing but what? Fe2O3. So if you check here, iron is nothing but what? Fe. So this Fe is changing into the Fe2O3. Because of that, it is a chemical change. Because of that, it is a chemical change. If you change, see the color also, color is also changing. Because of the change in the color, we can say that it is a chemical change. Right. So this is about the rusting of iron. So we know that iron is one of the essential material which is required by us. So if it is getting damaged when we keep in the environment, in the atmosphere, what will be the use of that waste? It is nothing. It does not give any helpful product. Because of that, we should prevent the rusting of iron. We should prevent the damaging of the iron. So how we are going to prevent the damaging of the iron here? So next, prevention of the rusting. So next, prevention of the rusting. Prevention of the rusting here. So we are going to prevent the rusting of iron here. So see here first. What is rusting of iron? That is nothing but when iron comes in the contact with water and oxygen, it is going to get rusted or it is going to get damaged. So how we are going to prevent the rusting of iron here? So what we have to preventive measure we have to take here. That is nothing but what we have to do here. We should protect this iron. We should protect this iron so that it shouldn't come in the contact with the oxygen and the water vapor. It shouldn't come in the contact with the oxygen and water vapor. Like example, now COVID pandemic is coming here. COVID, we know that coronavirus is going to enter into our nose or mouth to our lungs, so it is going to infect the lungs. So we are COVID positive. We are going to say that COVID positive. So we are going to prevent that COVID virus, coronavirus shouldn't enter into our nose or mouth. We are going to have a protective layer. That is nothing but we are going to wear mask. So that COVID virus, coronavirus is not coming in contact with our mouth as well as our nose. In the same manner, we know that rusting of iron is also dangerous to the iron. So what we have to do here, we have to protect that iron so that this water vapor and oxygen shouldn't come in the contact with that iron. Right? So that we also have to put the mask on this iron box or this iron. So what is the mask of the iron? If we check your in home appliances, if you belong to a farmer's family, if you check the mechanical equipments which are used in that farmer's family, all are greased one, or they are going to apply the lubricants on those things. So we are going to take a iron material, on that we are going to apply lubricants. Either maybe an oil or maybe grease we are going to apply. So when you apply the oil or grease on this surface, it is going to prevent the contact of the oxygen with the iron, as well as it is going to prevent the water vapor which is going to come in the contact with the iron. So when you apply the grease or oil, so what they are going to make here, they are not going to contact, they are not going to act with the water, same both are immiscible solvents. So if doesn't oil doesn't acting with or grease doesn't acting with water vapor, is it possible that water vapor is going to act with the iron? No, it is not possible. So because of that thing, we are applying lubricant, that's nothing but application of the grease or oil. So by applying grease or oil, we can prevent rusting of iron, grease or oil. So that is nothing but lubrication. Alright. In the same manner, if we take benches, tables, so benches, tables are getting painted. So why they are getting painted? So that when we paint that thing, those painted, whatever the paint we are going to apply on those iron fillings or iron benches or iron tables, they are preventing the iron to come in contact with the air as well as it come in contact with the water vapor. So if it is preventing those things, then is it possible that it is going to rust? No, it is not possible. So second preventing measure is what? Painting. By painting we are preventing the rusting of iron. By painting we are preventing the rusting of iron. So this is the second case. So if we take ships also, those ships, the below part of that, those ships are painted one. So why they are painted? So that the sea water, we know that it is salt water. So the presence of the salt water, what is going to make? It is going to make the process of rusting it will be faster. So to reduce that thing, those things are painted, and it is continuous reaction with the sea water. The painted iron also going to get rusted. Because of that, yearly annually those things are getting painted again and again. So the second thing which we can do here, which is nothing but painting. In the third case, we know that we are going to use the iron fillings for the purpose of the making buildings. Right, in the same way we are going to use them for preparing bridges, for various essential activities. So in some cases, if we take our electrical equipment, if we take our vehicles, all those vehicles are made from the iron. So what we are going to do here, to prevent those iron to become rusted one, we are going to deposit a layer on that iron. So deposition of a layer of the zinc or chromium on that iron is nothing but what? It is known as the galvanization. So by the galvanization also we are preventing the rusting of iron. So by galvanization, we are preventing the rusting of iron. So what is the galvanization here? We are going to see here. What is the galvanization? So zinc and chromium, those two elements are not reactive with the water as well as they are not reactive with the oxygen. So if it is not reactive with the water and oxygen, is it possible that it is going to get deteriorated or it is going to get damaged? No, it is not possible. So for that, if you take a iron here, which is susceptible to the water vapor as well as which is susceptible for the air molecules. So if you deposit a layer of chromium or zinc on this thing, this is the layer of chromium or zinc, either way you can take chromium or zinc. So if you have the layer of chromium and zinc and iron is present inside here, there is the presence of oxygen as well as air or water vapor in the atmosphere. When they come closer to this thing, they are going to come in the contact with the chromium or zinc only. They are not directly coming in the contact of the iron. So if they are not coming into the contact with the iron, that means iron is getting damaged here. No, it is not getting damaged. And we know that chromium and zinc is not react with the water vapor as well as oxygen, so that chromium and zinc is also not reacting. So this whole thing is remaining same only, it is not getting damaged only. So by this thing also we are protecting the iron. From rusting. So this is whatever the layer which are depositing on the iron material by the chromium or zinc material is nothing but what? It is known as the galvanization. It is known as the galvanization. So what is the galvanization here? Galvanization is nothing but what? It is the depositing a layer of chromium or zinc on the iron is nothing but what? It is known as the galvanization. It is known as what? It is known as the galvanization. Right. So this is the third thing. The fourth thing, by using alloys. By using alloys. So see here. Here we know that iron is more susceptible to the oxygen as well as water vapor, so it is going to react easily. Also we know that chromium and zinc is not going to react with the oxygen and water vapor, so it is not getting damaged, but it is getting damaged when it is coming into contact with that thing. So we also know that iron is very essential for the purpose of the various needs. So what we are going to do? We are going to make an alloy. We are going to make an alloy. So alloy is nothing but what? We are going to make various materials to make another material. For example, if you take the steel, we are going to use steel in very high amount. So why we are using the steel? Steel is a good conductor of electricity, good conductor of heat, as well as it is not going to rust easily. It is not going to get damaged easily. Since we are using the iron only to make that steel, but still it is not getting damaged easily. So why it is not getting damaged easily? Because it is made from a alloy. It is made from a alloy. So what is that alloy of the steel? That is nothing but stainless steel is made from the mixing of iron with stainless steel, which is made from the mixing of iron plus with the carbon. We are mixing iron with the carbon as well as metals like chromium, nickel and manganese. Metals like chromium, nickel and manganese. So by using this alloy, by making a stainless steel, we are preventing that stainless steel from becoming rust. So if you make a steel by using iron only, it is going to rust easily. Because of that, we are taking low reactive element and we are mixing that low reactive element with the iron so that it doesn't rust easily. So which are those elements? Carbon, chromium, nickel and manganese. By mixing those things, we are making an alloy. By using an alloy, we are preventing the rusting of iron. So these are the few methods by which we are going to prevent the rusting of iron. So this is about the rusting of iron. So the last topic of this chapter is nothing but what? It is the crystallization. So what do you mean by the crystallization? In the name itself, it is going to suggest what is the crystallization. So see here, it is given as the crystallization. So it is nothing but what? The formation of the crystals. So if we take the example of the salt, we have two types of the salt. One is the powder form of the salt, another one is the crystal form of the salt. So whatever the crystal form of the salt is nothing but what? It is made from the crystallization of the salt. So what is the crystallization? If you remember the 6th standard, in that 6th standard we have discussed about the separation techniques. In that separation technique we discussed about the evaporation. So how we are going to get the salt? So what we are going to do here, we are going to take the sea water, that is nothing but which is rich in the salt. So we allow the sea water to evaporate. When the evaporation happens, whatever the water which is present in that solution is going to get evaporated, leaving behind the salt. So that salt which is going to form is in the form of the crystals. So that process is nothing but what? It is known as the crystallization. It is known as the crystallization and it is a physical change. So what is the crystallization here? Crystallization is the process. It is the process of getting of crystals from the solution. For example, salt crystals from the seawater. salt crystals from the seawater. So the seawater is going to be evaporated, and whatever the salt which is present here, we are going to get it as the crystals. So it is a physical change. It is an example for the physical change. Right. So crystallization is like that. So whatever the physical change which is occurred, whatever the salt which are getting here in the form of the crystals are not 100% pure. Those are not 100% pure. Just remember that thing. So to further discuss about that crystallization, we are going to do an activity. So that in that activity we are going to use diluted sulfuric acid. We are going to use diluted sulfuric acid, as well as we are going to use some water, and we are going to use copper sulfate crystals. We are going to use copper sulfate. So you already know that copper sulfate is nothing but what? It is the blue vitriol. Right. Also know that sulfuric acid is very harmful. It is very strong acid, so that it should be done in presence of the teacher only, and it is going to be demonstrated by the teacher only. So what we are going to do here, we are going to take some water in a container. We are going to take water in a container. So this is filled with water. In that water we are going to add few drops of the sulfuric acid. We are going to add few drops of the sulfuric acid. Not high amount, only few drops of the sulfuric acid. And we are going to heat this container. We are going to heat this container. While heating, we are going to add copper sulfate into this thing. We are going to add copper sulfate into this thing. So after the addition of the copper sulfate, the amount of the copper sulfate in such a way that it should leave the saturated part. That is nothing but the copper sulfate should be added. Up to that point, it should not dissolve that copper sulfate. Right? It is continuously going to dissolve that thing. Up to that point, we have to add copper sulfate, that it should not dissolve that copper sulfate. So after that point, we have to add copper sulfate, then we have to stop here. So then what we are going to do here, we are going to filter this solution into another container. We are going to filter this solution into another container. So it contains the sulfuric acid as well as the copper sulfate solution, or it is the solution of the copper sulfate along with the sulfuric acid. So after that, what we are going to do here, we are going to leave this thing for cooling. When you leave that thing for cooling, whenever this cooling starts, this copper sulfate is going to come into form of the crystals. It is becoming crystals. So this powder of the copper sulfate, in addition with the water as well as the sulfuric acid, when it is heated, the amount of water is going to get evaporated, leaving behind the copper sulfate. So that copper sulfate, when we cool it, that copper sulfate is going to be converted into the crystal. So this is nothing but what? It is known as the crystallization. And these are the crystals of the copper sulfate. These are the crystals of the copper sulfate. Like this, we are going to get the crystals of the copper sulfate. So this is about the crystallization, and it is a physical change. So here we are getting the copper sulfate, adding copper sulfate, and we are also getting the copper sulfate. Because of that thing, there is no new product is formed. Because of that thing, it is a physical change. So here your chapter is completed. In the next class, we are going to discuss about the exercise questions. Up to that point, thank you. Take care. Stay well. Stay home.